Welcome back, students. So in this lecture we are trying to understand how we can improve the team effectiveness. So team, already said in your previous lecture, team effort works, teamwork plays a major role when you go with reducing the software cost. So how we can increase the team effort can be understood by this particular session. So here there are basically you have four basic principles provided in order to understand how your team is going to work. So first is a well-managed project is going to, So here, first thing is, so you can create any particular project if you have a team which is well-managed in nature and with a nominal engineering team also. If your team is well-managed with a nominal engineering team also, you can create a well-managed project. Second, if your project is not managed perfectly, like even though you have an expert team working on that particular project, but if the project is not performing well, then you cannot succeed with your project. So this is the second headache. And third is if you are using any particular well architectured system, right? So with if your architecture is very well, with minimal software tools also you can build your software pretty easily. But when you go with, if your architecture is not good, if it is poorly created, then even though you have an excellent software tools, developing your process or project can be it is not up to the mark, even though you have an expert team working on that particular project. So these are the four factors that affect your team here, project team. So the crucial attributes that relate to the successful completion of your project managers are: first is whenever a project is signed, whenever you start developing your project, the project manager needs to work on these 5 different factors in order to make your project successful, right? So from your previous slide, we have understood that your project's team, your project work and your project architecture plays a major role. So what are the different qualities your project manager should have and focus on is what we are going to understand in this particular slide. First, hiring skills. So hiring skills indicates your project manager should take your decision of placing right people in right project. So if you are going to place wrong people in a project which is not accepted by those people, the project manager will end up with a negative results related to your project development. So he need to make a decision here where he is going to place only right people related to the project with their commitments. Next, customer interface. So you are supposed to understand the requirements of the customer, and you should also understand what are the basic requirements of the customers and what is he expecting from your project. Only then you can start developing your project. Next, design making skills. So there is no book which is giving you perfect definition related to your design making skills, but what we can expect here is if the manager or the head who is going to lead your project, if he is going to make right decisions at a right part, at a right time, then your project development goes in a perfect direction. Otherwise, if he has made any wrong decision at any particular instance, the development of your process also gets reduced, and it also affects on the teamwork which is already laid down or contributed. Next, team building skills. So I already said that if your project consists of a team with perfect team management and communication skills, your project can work with your project development will go on with effective development. But if you have a team which is not communicating well among themselves, neither they are communicating well with your customers, then project development will not go as per the schedule which is provided. If they are unable to deliver their approach to the customers, or if they are unable to convince their customers also, your project is not going to work well. Last, going with your skilling cell. So skilling cell is what, like your project is already developed. Now it is the responsibility of your marketing team to sell that particular project. So the marketing team need to focus on what are the potential areas where your project can be sold out and who is going to make use of your project. So unless and until they understand the potential area of this project, they are not going to sell this particular project at higher rate of interest. So higher return of investments. So here skilling cell is also a major role in order to develop a successful project by your managers. So these are the 5 crucial attributes which focus on your project development. Done. So right. So how we can improve your automation through the software environments what we are going to use. So software environments I already said, if you are going to make use of higher end order software process tools with the people who are not well communicating among themselves, your process will not go as per the required development, or your process will not develop as per the requirements provided. So how you can improve your software automation tool? In order to work with this, you can manage with what are different software tools that are already available, and which particular software tool is going to reduce the teamwork, or which particular software tool is going to reduce the manual work, and it can develop your required process. So this again depends on the total cost applied on your software. So in order to work with this, you have one model which you need to focus on, or there is a model which is built, and this particular model we say it as a round trip engineering model. So this round trip engineering model works on your improving, right. So this particular round trip engineering model works on improving the automation tools that can be used into your project. So here what is the capability is how many iterations you can make. So this round trip engineering model majorly works on at which particular point your iterations can be made in order to meet the expectations of the customers. That is a major focus of your round trip engineering model here, right? So how I can achieve, so next we will try to understand how we can achieve your required quality. So required quality depends on the customer, depends on what are the requirements provided by the customer and up to the satisfaction level of your customer. So how can you, quality depends on whether it is going to satisfy your customer needs or not. So this particular customer, your quality depends on 5 different practices that are being used in your software. So first is focus on your driving requirements. First you need to understand what are the requirements of the customers pretty clearly. Without understanding what are the requirements of your customer, you cannot create your software, right? So first point is you need to focus on what are the driving requirements or related to your process development. Next, you are supposed to make use of the metrics or the measures that are supposed to be used in order to measure the quality of your software. So which particular metrics you can use in order to understand the software quality. That so this is next practice you are supposed to work with. And third, you need to understand, or you are supposed to give the life cycle model, which is an integration of all the different phases that are available in your software development. Say for example, from your previous slides, from your previous classes, if you still remember, you have different life cycle, you have different phases related to your software development, like your inception phase, elaboration phase, development phase, and testing phase. So you are supposed to give an integrated model related to all the phases of your software model. With this will help you out in understanding whether your quality is up to the required level or not, right? So this will help you out in understanding whether your life cycle environment is also provided as per the requirements or not. Next, which visual models you are using. In your previous classes, we have understood about the different visual models. So out of the different visual models that are available, which visual model is satisfying your project requirement? Whether you are using your higher end languages, which higher end language you are using, depending on the project requirement. Project requirement indicates like if you are supposed to deploy it on multiple hardwares, which like higher order language is going to support it. If you want to restrict your software to a particular environment, which higher end language will use. So all these need to be taken into consideration. When you go with this early and continuous improvement. In your conventional model, identifying errors at your early stage is a headache. But when you go with this software engineering models, so there are a number of automation tools which will help you out in identifying your errors, or they also help you out in identifying the problems that in your project. So early identification of your problems in your project will help you out in developing a better software. At the same time, you are supposed to work on the continuous improvement of your software also. So continuous improvement will help you out in adding on new features to your software. So these are all required. All these are the practices that are used in order to achieve the required quality of the customer. Right. Okay. So this is how your improvements can be done related to your modern processes that we are going to use here. So first, I already said, if your project is purely a quality driven project, sir, right? So here, one second. So here, quality of your project depends on all these factors. First, the requirements, whether the requirements given by your customer are understood or misunderstood. Say for example, if the requirements given by your customer are misunderstood, right? In which particular process, where they are rectified. So in your conventional process, they are discovered at the late stages and they are rectified at the end of your project development only. But when you use your modern software technologies, modern iterative approaches, they are rectified and identified at the early stages and they are resolved at the early stages only. This will help you in stopping the rework and focus on the continual work. Second, development risk is the second quality driven force. So development risk, this conventional process is going to understand that your development is late and development cannot be known unless and until it is late. But this software tools which you are using, they will understand it is at the very early point. So here what I mean to say is, whatever your quality driven forces are, your conventional model is going to identify them only at the end of the project development. But when you go with your modern iterative process, they are identified at your early stages. Say for example, your commercial components, right? And commercial components indicates the quality of your project. Change management, whether you want to change any particular part of your software. This is an headache in your conventional model, but that can be done easily in your software model. Design errors. So initially your conventional model will focus on the initial design that is given, but your iterative model will focus on improving that particular design also at any particular stage. So which automation tools you are using? We'll try to go with this last one, software process rigor. So in this particular, in your conventional model, your documentation, conventional model is purely a document based model. But when you go with this iterative model, it depends on your document, but more than relying on your document, it focuses on managing your software tools, right? So here, whether in your one of the driving force of your quality is your resources that are available. So your conventional model is not going to understand whether the resources available with it are as per the requirements or not. But your in your model, iterative model, you can predict whether you have enough resources to develop your process or not, and they can be changed as they are identified at the early stages. You can improve your requirements. So these are basic improvements. These are the basic quality indicators in both of your processes, that is either your conventional model or your iterative model, right? Even schedule is a problem here. So schedule is a problem indicates like when you go with this in your conventional model, the time is not taken as into consideration, but when you go with your modern approaches, your time is taken into consideration. So here we have understood about what are the general improvements we have with your modern process to your conventional process. Now what is that view related to your inspection is what we are going to understand now. So basically any software framework, it assumes that peer review as an important, peer inspection is an important aspect, but in practicality this peer inspection is not taken as that important, but instead they are going to concentrate on what are the suggestions provided by this particular peer reviewers in order to enhance the quality of their software. So this basically focuses on these points now. First, transition. So transition indicates what are the artifacts that are set for your project and to which extent they can be extended. That depends on your transition engineering. Second, what are the major milestones? Whether these major milestones are met or not. So these major milestones. So here say major milestones are tangible in nature again. So whether you are going to meet these particular milestones or not, so that is taken by your peer inspection, and if you have met, your peer inspection team is going to give you some other suggestions, or if they are not met, they are going to record that particular information. And third, which environmental tools you are going to use. So environmental tools we have already used. Among these environmental tools, say for example, you have suggested certain environmental tools to be using into your program or into your process development. Whether you are following the same environmental tools or are there any modifications made in your environmental tools, so they are taken into your consideration by this peer inspection reviewers. And last, change management. Is there any particular changes that can be incorporated in your project, or whether the customer has come up with your changes related to your project, and where you're able to accommodate all the changes provided by your customer will be taken by your peer inspections, and all this report is considered for your final, all these particular points are taken for your creating your final report. So that is all for your lecture here. Let's meet in your next lecture. Thank you.